Who the hell thought that the United States of America would be ruled by an narcissistic egomaniac who would replace constitutional rule with a cult of personality? The speech he gave at Davos was an embarrassment to him, an embarrassment to Davos, an embarrassment to the concept of law-based global order, and an embarrassment, moreover, to the American people. We are a constitutional republic, or we used to be. And yet we are governed by a man who says nothing matters to him. No law matters, just his own sense of morality. Who could have envisioned that? Was that on your bingo card? It wasn't on mine. And yet here we are. This is the reality that we face. We have an unprecedented threat to everything the world has stood for decades. And the threat is in the form of an American president. Who would have thought that? No one. But it's the problem we face. And unfortunately, as critical as I am of Europe, understand that I'm equally critical of the American people. My God, what have we done to our republic? What have we done to our Constitution? What have we done? As imperfect as we have been over the decades, we at least stood for something noble, maybe never attainable. Maybe the shining city on the hill was just a pipe dream, but at least we dreamed big. And the path that we wanted to get there was a path that was based upon principles. Today, we've just thrown all that away for this narcissistic orgy of egomania, this modern day Caligula that rules over a failed state, because America is a failed state, because America is defined by the Constitution and only by the Constitution. And without the Constitution, we are nothing. We are failed. We may succeed on the ledgers temporarily. Again, I don't know how sustainable anything Donald Trump does is in reality, but America has failed. So as critical as I am of Europe, understand I'm as equally critical, or even more so, because this hits home, about America and what America has done. The fact is, we are dealing with one of the most ignorant men in the world, advised by some of the most ignorant people in the world. This Make America First, this Make America Great Again, grouping that he's surrounded himself with are just a collection of sycophants who don't represent the best of America. They represent what's best for Donald Trump. And so he has people whispering in his ears about that which can make him great. People who look at a map and say, look, Mr. President, we could turn this big mass here into ours, and we'll have access to the Arctic Sea, and we'll be able to block the Chinese and the Russians. But that's just ignorant. I mean, yes, you have access, but we already had access. You see, we're part of an Arctic organization. We're part of a NATO alliance. That means that Greenland's waters are our waters. We have a collective responsibility to defend them. We don't need to own Greenland to speak of that. So every argument this president makes is a lie. Greenland's resources, the economic potential of Greenland will not be fulfilled in Donald Trump's lifetime. I mean, we're not going to suddenly turn Greenland into, this mass producer of rare earth minerals that's going to, challenge the Chinese. That's just another lie that the president is telling and his advisors are telling. This is about ego. This is about Donald. Look, Dmitry Peskov said it best, I think, the other day. He said, if Donald Trump takes Greenland, he will go down in history. He didn't say if this was going down in history in a good way or a bad way. He simply said he will go down in history. And that's all Donald Trump wants. Donald Trump wants to have his name carved in some monument somewhere as a great leader. This is about his ego. And the moment a president of the United States allow his ego to get in the way of what's best for the American people, the American nation, and indeed the world that he's supposed to be the leader of, it means that the world is no longer what we thought it was. In Davos today, we saw a mentally ill person, a man who is infected with narcissistic personality disorder of the worst kind. And because this mentally ill man has the power of the United States behind him. He represents a threat not just to the American people, not just to the Inuit of Greenland, not just to the Kingdom of Denmark, not just to NATO, not just to Europe, but the entire world. If you didn't listen to that speech and say, oh my God, what is happening? Then you weren't listening to that speech. It's almost like we're writing a comedy skit, except it's not. But this president wrote a letter to the Prime Minister of Norway, chastising him for the fact that the Nobel Peace Prize Committee didn't give him the Nobel Peace Prize, even though he deserved it because he stopped 8 wars. And therefore, because this man of peace was snubbed with the Peace Prize, he's going to choose war as his option now. And I mean, first of all, just the childlike nature of that thinking. I mean, a third grader couldn't come up with more childlike behaviors. The ignorance that's manifest in that letter, as if the Prime Minister of Norway had anything to do whatsoever with the selection committee decisions made for who got the Nobel Prize. Dealing with ignorance on a level that's never been seen before. Sure, we may have had presidents who may not have known everything, but they surrounded themselves with advisors whose job it was to know these things, so that when the president interfaced with the public at large, especially on a global in a global setting, he did so in a way that implied intelligence, implied knowledge, implied fact-based certainty. This president's just a joke, a tragic joke. I just felt I had to throw that in there because it's, I've never been more depressed being an American. I love my country. I love my country deeply. I would die for my country, and I will die for my country. But this man doesn't lead my country anymore because my country is a constitutional republic. This man behaves as if he's some sort of deranged, syphilitic emperor of past times.